Let me ask you a tough question, George, and let me preface it by saying everybody knows that Governor Christie is my friend. I've been very supportive of Governor Christie. He has been very supportive of me, and I'm not changing that. But Governor Christie created national news. Not only did it happen on Ask the Governor right here on WPG Talk Radio 1450 last night, but because he's a candidate for president of the United States, it has now gone national. Fox News, a listener has written in, the Fox News is blaming Atlantic City Council for all these problems. Governor Christie last night on Ask the Governor is blaming Atlantic City Council as the problem. What's your response to that?
We're a perfect whipping boy. We're whipping boys. They got to blame someone. The mess is so bad that they've created that they've got to blame someone. We can't get away with that much stuff to get us into the mess that we're in today. I mean, we didn't appraise these casinos. We didn't make the state legislation where they get to use the income approach. I know city council in the past has went to our 2 assemblymen and our senator and gave them the Las Vegas plan, where you have residential way of doing your taxes, you have the commercial way where it's either or with the income driven, and then you have casinos. Did anybody work on that? Of course he's got to blame someone. Look at his poll numbers. He's not doing too well. And, blame city council. How do you blame city council for this? Who takes the almost $70 million a year out of the city through the luxury tax, the room tax, the parking tax, the CRDA? I mean, CRDA has been fabulous for the state of New Jersey, but the CRDA was supposed to, and the casinos, with the Casino Control Act, was to rebuild the city. The casinos were not to replace the current businesses. It was to embellish those businesses and to rise all boats together. But what did they do for the first 30 years? They kept the people to themselves, and they let the city decay. And you want to blame city council? I mean,
were you aware that happened?
No, I was not aware about that.
I thought I hit you cold with it, but your answer was so thorough, it's like you knew it was coming.
They have to have a built-in excuse for their failures. I mean, you heard Donald Trump on TV. He whacked the hell out of Christie with that. And Christie, for the first time, was quiet. What could he say? Because, he knows as this race goes on, Atlantic City is going to be brought up more and more.
How do you feel about that?
I think that's...
And by the way, that's from 2 vantage points, because of Donald Trump and his longtime, obviously, business ties to Atlantic City, and Governor Christie is governor of New Jersey. How do you feel about that?
Well, Chris Christie has been one of the only governors that have put the money back into Atlantic City, and I have a great deal of respect for him.
I give you a lot of credit for saying that, George, because it is true.
It's very true. Although I don't like a lot of his policies and the way he goes about things to get his point across, he does put a lot. He did take a lot of the I call the theft that was happening and the raiding of the city coffers of and put the money back into the city to start redevelopment. Unfortunately, he didn't get the results that he wanted with this S11 and the CRDA, because you see that. I mean, when the press of Atlantic City does a story on redevelopment, and they say the CRDA has been holding up progress and that people are complaining nonstop about the cost to do business and redevelopment and planning, Harry, and I think those comments that they put in the paper, you got to read a few days ahead. They're going to attempt to do an additional memorandum of understanding, stripping the city of more of its powers and try and attempt to steal the land. I told you today,
wow,
this is a precursor. This is to get the national attention. Oh, they're bad, so now we had to go further and take more and more away from them.
So you feel you're being made the problem so that people that want to take additional authority have the built-in excuse to be able to do it.
Absolutely,
because they blamed you as an impediment.
Every mistake they make, no matter what they do. Well, city council, everything they do. City council, come on. How much more can the people of Atlantic City do? You cannot cut your way out of this. You got to give us our taxes back. You got to give us the luxury tax. You got to give us the car tax. You got to give us the room tax, and that will help it. I mean, when people from around the state that we talk to other legislators, and hey, how much aid do you need? They start laughing. That's nothing compared to Newark, Camden, and everywhere else. Look at the job they've done in Camden. I mean, this is the same state government where Chris Christie signed an agreement that he would make payments to the pension fund. Signed it, and the legislators made it law, and they didn't make the payments. and you want to say city council's the problem with Atlantic City, well, then what's the problem with the state of New Jersey being where people are leaving here in record numbers, where we're in the top 5 of all the negative categories that there is to do business in this state? This is a built-in excuse because what we were expecting the MOU to come out at last night's council meeting, we were expecting it to be put on our plate yesterday and not have no time to even read it and being told to vote on it. So we knew what was coming with the MOU. So Christie is so predictable to make a statement like that because they're going to try and steal the powers of the city and blame it on council. Why aren't they blaming it on the mayor? What has the mayor done in the last year and a half except be a yes sir boy?
Now,
how about all that luxury tax that you take? We don't want state welfare. Give us what's ours. We don't want nothing extra. Give us what's ours.
So if you all vote down the MOU and then the state decides to play hardball, I guess the governor could take the city over if he wanted.
Well, what would that fall? I believe now I'm still learning on this. I believe they would attempt to do the mirror like they did in Camden.
Yes.
And I believe the way mirror's written right now, 2 of the 3 would apply to Atlantic City, but it doesn't say or, it says and in the legislation. Listen, we want to work with everybody, Harry. I think we've shown, Harry, you know the governor. You stated many times he's a great dear friend of yours, and you know most of us. And you know we want what's best for the city, and we're willing to work with anybody, whether you're a D or you're an R, to get it done. But to be disingenuous and try and cover your ass because you were too busy running around this country trying to be president when you should have been home fixing the state of New Jersey, making it the great, and hanging out with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys fans, you decided to do that instead of fixing the state of New Jersey. I believe this governor has the ability. I believe he has the chutzpah to do it. And you know, he's a guy that I had a great deal of respect for, but to do what he's doing in an attempt to have a built-in excuse is just wrong. To extort the great people of Atlantic City, which are predominantly minority, and there is an attack on the minority worker in Atlantic City right now.
And Councilman, and those just joining us, it's Councilman George Tibbitt, Councilman at Large from Atlantic City.